Hello, good morning. Welcome into another episode of Good Morning Nasdaq right here on the Clover Trading YouTube channel. It is a beautiful day. The sun is shining. Had a pretty severe storm come through actually last night, but I slept through it just fine. And now the sun is out again. A little water for the grass, if you will. Hope you guys all had a phenomenal week here as we wrap up another week in the markets. It is the 16th day of May, year of our Lord 2025. We got Randy in here, Greg in here, Warren in here, Chris, Raz, Mash for Fun. Good morning, good morning. Hope you guys had a good week. We were here all week long. Went through the ups and downs, had a lot of really big gappers, had some days with quite a few less. It's just been an interesting market. I'm not sure how to put my finger on it because I personally didn't do that well this week from a trading perspective. We talked a lot about that in the webinar yesterday with Four Leaf and Black Clover. Basically called it Dom therapy session because we did talk a lot about the mistakes that I've been making over the past few weeks, a lot of the issues I've been having, a lot of the weaknesses that continue to show on the day-to-day of my trading. So the weekend is a great time for you to get all that stuff figured out, to go through your data, go through your numbers, go through the trades that you took that week and solve some problems. Find out what mistakes you're making, where your money is being lost, where are you doing well, and focus in on, doubling, tripling, maximizing your potential on what you do well, and just minimizing losses, minimizing expenses on plays and situations where you tend to give a lot of money back or take bigger than expected losses, bigger than expected red days, yada, yada, yada. So if you ever are interested in being a part of those webinars, they happen multiple times a week, and you have the archive list of hundreds of them that we've done over the past 2 years or so. You can get access over at clovertrading.io and come hang out with us every single day, weekends included. We are there. But yeah, if you want to get signed up for that and come hang out in the room, we are doing an all-day webinar that is coming up in June. We haven't fully released the page for that yet, but did want to make you guys aware because, like I said, if we get that number up to 7,000 subscribers by the time we get to like a week or two before that all-day webinar, I personally will be giving away 2 tickets to that all-day webinar. And the all-day webinar, boot camps, in-person events, those are always your best way to come try out Clover because you can get in at significantly lower prices. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not already. We're live every day the market is open. We talk small caps over here, and on Good Morning Nasdaq, we talk gappers. Talk about the biggest gappers of the day, what's moving in the markets, why is it moving, is there any dilution, and take a look at the daily chart as well. Hit that thumbs up button. I'd like to get that number up towards 50. You guys are on a great start already. But yeah. Good morning. Just me again. You can see the landscape there. The wallpaper has changed from the squirrel to a beautiful, looks like either morning or night happening on the mountainsides with a nice little lake running through. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. I'm sure Huddie would want you guys to look at some sun today. Just stare at it, apparently. Please don't do that. Get outside. Touch some grass, as they would say. But really struggled last night to make my watch list. I actually didn't make one because I didn't really see a whole ton on watch. We continue to see the overall market trend higher. Yesterday looked like it was going to be a red day. Ended up being quite strong. And then we are higher this morning, up just slightly on the overall markets. Really eating into that deficit that we created over the past few months. And now starting to wonder, are we going to get a stretch of serious pullback back down to where we have been bouncing from, maybe set a higher low or whatever? Who knows what news is going to come out in the global economy in the world? Or are we going to go break out from here to new highs? That would be kind of wild, kind of crazy, but we shall see. We shall see. I feel like the momentum has not really been a big factor in helping my trading. Don't even have anything on watch today. Haven't had anything significant for first red days this week. Any big runners that have held up. Have had a ton of reversals. You look at the last few months. If you're in the room, you know the pattern. You know the first green day reversal pattern. And we've seen a ton of those because we've had a lot of gappers, a lot of runners that run 300, 400, 500% plus. And then they fade, then they fail. They don't go on to have a day 2 or day 3. And then we have opportunities to bounce some on the backside. Congrats to all long biased first green day buyers yesterday. If you did really well, we had, what did we have? The best one was GRYP. That was the only one that I really nailed. Really beautiful pattern there. Ended up bouncing from like the 70s all the way up to $1.40. Really nice move there. ASST was one that finally bounced back yesterday as well. And then what are some? Oh, we had KDLY. I butchered this one, but ended up having a really phenomenal morning spike continuing into the afternoon as well. There, gapping down right now. So, the reason we trade multiple patterns and have a couple different tricks up our sleeve is to go when we go through stretches where maybe there's not a lot of breakouts, maybe there's not a lot of first red days, maybe there's not a lot of gappers, whatever it is, that we always have some part of our game working and setting us up for success. And right now, reversals over the course of this whole year so far have been a really nice cushion. We've had tons of examples, tons of really good ones, and just kind of allowing me to stay level-headed for when we get big picture breakouts that we've had a few of over the past few months. Not as often as we do reversals or first green days or first red days, but that's my bread and butter. It's important for you to have your bread and butter as well. Go ahead and get some questions going in the live chat. We got a couple gappers that we'll talk about. Basically one, really, I guess. So we'll run through that gapper, and then we'll answer some questions, and we'll get on out of here. How does that sound? Does that sound amazing? All right, cool. Lucas says, happy Friday, y'all. Let's try not to get sucked into the quants again today. Yeah, big failed breakout on QBTS yesterday. Nice little wick into the sky, trying to break through this big resistance level in the 11s and 12s, but unable to do so. Still ended up holding up a higher low from the previous day and is a little bit higher this morning, so we'll see if that is a play down the road or not. But those are tough stocks to trade. If you remember them from the fall of last year, went on some phenomenal runs back here. But, pretty clean when they're working, but super choppy when they're not. Randy says, my problem is that I've been getting in too late and the best part of the move is over. Need to work on getting early. Yeah, maybe it's just something you need to sit down and go through hundreds of examples, go through the strategy and the pattern that you're trying to trade, and find a more optimal entry spot. Find a spot that you can be late enough where you have higher conviction, but still plenty of room to be profitable. Trading is just a math equation. Each system should have its own math equation defined by how much you win when you're right, how often you lose in terms of your win rate, how often the setup takes place. It should be very easy to map out what type of plan you should have. All right, let's go to the biggest gapper of the day in small cap land. If you look at INZY, that's the biggest gapper, but it's an acquisition play. So just for learning purposes, you'll see here it's not really a gapper. It's up 178%, but it's just going sideways at that price because they acquired someone else, I believe. And so it's probably not going to move much more than around that price. Or they were acquired by someone else. The biggest gapper of the day is actually AFMD, which is up 180% today. This is a company out of Germany, a biotech, and they appear to be getting delisted. I read through that delisting notice. They're going through insolvency. I don't know if that's like a European bankruptcy, but they will cease to be trading on the Nasdaq on May 20th, which is Tuesday. Have I got my dates right? 17, 18, 19, 20. So Tuesday. And we're spiking on that news. So there's not a ton to go into on the company in terms of its crap, its poop. They're done for. Negative 6.3 months of cash left. They have 20 million in the ATM from March of 2023 that they haven't used any of. They got a float of 15 million. Fits into the price range that has been okay over the past week. We obviously had IZHL go on a pretty phenomenal run. Is that not the ticker? IXHL. Ran like 1,000% from like 8 cents to over $1 yesterday. Got some dilution news and just died. And before you ask, I don't think I'll be watching this one for reversal, as I don't like it when dilution causes the backside. AFMD, though, is in the cheap price range. We saw GTI not be able to hold on yesterday. Similar price area, 10 to 20 cents. Was a decent gap and crap there. And now AFMD on pretty much the worst news, I guess, you can get. The company will stop trading next Tuesday. So my initial thoughts are quite bearish. Would be surprised to see this really, really run. If we had our in-house specialist when it comes to dilution and fundamentals, I'd ask more questions about what reasons would they have to run it? Does it do anything for them? Help stockpiles and cash, blah, 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 blah. But I don't know that. It's above my pay grade. All I know is it's gapping up 170% right now. It's a Friday. There's not a ton of small caps in play. And so we'll see. It's a daily chart that has been top left to bottom right. You know, it's the epitome of poop. It's what we look at normally, except they're on like the last stage where they get delisted. And so would be surprised to see a crazy run here. We have seen stocks run into bankruptcy, following bankruptcy in the past. I didn't really look if this is going on the OTC or whatever. But yeah, it's not good news. Maybe there's something positive for him, but it's not a typical catalyst this week that's been running a lot of stocks. So that's your biggest gapper. Super cheap. Just got popping here in the 830s from 8 cents all the way up to 25 cents right now. We will see what AFMD has to offer today. The next biggest gapper is AM EST. That's up almost 70%. We can look at it for a second. We got some time. Let's see. 3 million float Amosite out of the United States. They are a high-tech artificial intelligence software company. In the education space, it looks like. Announces quarterly revenue increase of 2.4x in 10Q filing. So I'm guessing that they did earnings, but I don't see earnings anywhere else. The earnings yesterday in their 10Q. 13 months of cash left. Looks like low across the board. Over a year cash. Historical medium. Since we don't have Huddie, we're going to trust that they don't really have a ton of dilution. Taking a look at the daily chart, you got a pretty big day here on 43 million shares of volume. We opened on a slight gap up, spiked into 430s, and then faded off back to where we came from. So that resistance should be playing a part this morning if anyone got stuck on that day. Bag holders, etc. So big level of resistance overhead. Looks like we're getting close to the same type of volume that we did on that day. Ran into the end of the year, but on no volume, so I don't really care if there isn't any volume. And we have a similar gap and crap style day back in like a year ago, a little over a year ago. But not super top left to bottom right, just kind of been going sideways in this big range from like 2 to 4. And gapping up this morning. Got some pop initially, and then has been fading off towards the lows of the pre-market so far. But up 80% right now. I'd probably just draw my line at this resistance level since we're potentially going to open. Still got 23 minutes of pre-market, but see if it struggles with that area. You know, wouldn't be up that much. So around the breakout level, probably up around 100%. So, you know, I do have a style of breakout that I will trade every now and then called like the multi-week, multi-month type of breakout. My favorite is over multiple days where we get a spike of a day or two, some consolidation of a day or two or 3 or 4, and then a break of those highs. Breaking over highs from further back on the daily chart is kind of hit or miss. You're always going to be buying around the biggest resistance level on the chart, which means there's no really advantage to or ability to get in early to build into a position like you can on something like CEP or Fannie Mae. And so it's not my favorite style of trading. It's kind of having an entry near current chaos and current volatility. But if it is churning 100 million plus shares around this level and holding up, maybe there's potential there. 3 million float, not the biggest. I don't see anything in the world of potential dilution, and they seem proud of their earnings, so we will see what AM EST can do today, but kind of looking at that resistance level, a little bit of structure on this daily chart. Has a history, if it can't hold up, that it fades pretty hard. So maybe we get that if it isn't able to hold above that 430, 440 area. Sorry guys, I got the sniffles, working with a little bit of a cold. Andre says ASST might be worth watching at the open. Well, Andre, I can't tell you yes or no because you didn't give me any more information than that. And I encourage you guys, I know sometimes you're just writing in a free chat room on YouTube in the morning before the open. But if you want more constructive answers out of us, be a little bit more specific in your questioning and your phrasing. If you just type in ASST question mark or thoughts, you're usually going to get some sort of a rude-ish response, or a response that you probably don't want. That's not constructive for you because you're not guiding us. If you tell me a stock that I'm not watching or not interested in, and you just say thoughts, I'm going to tell you that I'm not interested in it. You say it might be worth a watch at the open. Are you talking about a short? You're talking about a long? It doesn't help me. So it doesn't really help anyone. What is top W? Oh, that's only up 60% on the day. Warren says still no power after big storms in Southwest Michigan. Logged in on my phone just to like the YouTube live stream. Appreciate it, Warren. Yeah, okay, you're in Michigan too. Yeah, it was scary. There was some high winds last night. Heard some thunder and some lightning, so I forced myself to go back to sleep as quickly as possible so I couldn't get scared, Jordan says, can you explain when you say that you were looking for an entry in the 5-minute chart? When did I say that? You are looking for an entry in the 5-minute chart? I rarely ever have the 5-minute chart up. The ways that I will look at charts is usually I start at the daily chart, kind of decide what type of pattern we're trading. Yesterday on ASST, it would have been a first green day pattern. And then, sometimes I'll go to the 5 or the 15 just to see the intra-daily. So I want to see the entire run, the consolidation, the fade, see which levels it bounced into. Is it a really nice, slow and steady fade? If we're holding up near the highs and something like, QBTS, which levels matter, which levels have proven as support. So I don't really, I usually buy it on the 1-minute chart, but using my levels from the intradaily and the daily chart. I try to blend all the different time frames together to try to find the levels that matter the most. And what looks appealing to the eyes of most people, right? Trend lines work, horizontal lines work on daily charts and stuff because everyone uses them. VWAP works because people use them. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So if I can find an area, a trend line, a key area of support, resistance that I think is going to bring in lots of volume, that's what matters to me. When you talk about the 5-minute chart, maybe you're talking about 5-minute entries and reversals. Sometimes I will buy the 5-minute high break, and that's basically just stocks that consolidate for 5 minutes after setting a high a day, and then they break that level. And look at the open here yesterday, we spiked, set a top at 475 here at ASST, pulled back, and then more than 5 minutes consolidation passed before breaking that level. So that would have been like the 5-minute high trigger stop on like low a day. So that's that type of entry style. But as far as charts go, I'll use anything. I'm primarily looking at daily chart and 1-minute charts though for my style. Skipped a question. Sean asked, what do you think of AEVA for a first red day? Not really that interested for me. Trying to take it down a notch on short selling has not been that great for me over the past few months. I tend to just do a lot better on the long side. I take less trades. I take less losses. And this is just a really solid breakout. This is one that I was actually watching from, the Qualmagi style swing trading, but wasn't too focused on that style because we had lots of trades during this time. But really nice extension here from the 8s all the way to 18. Wow. Not my style here for a first red day. I really like parabolic looking charts on small caps. When it comes to big caps or mid caps, I would prefer it be, either a really well-known big company like a Tesla, SMCI, MSTR that has really extended itself 2 or 3 days of just massive extension for those types of stocks. And so I won't waste my time here. The stock goes red all the time. It continues to go higher. Is there the potential for a fade? Most definitely. Is it going to have a pullback at some point? Probably. But I won't be there to try to time it because I have a suspicion that I will probably be wrong at least once. And I don't really want to open up the door to just having a stock that I'm not paying any attention to in my life just because I had traded it one time. So I look at this as more of just a continuation from this big breakout, and congrats to all longs. I won't be looking to short that. But it's a nice move, 100% move on a, kind of a mid cap style stock. Pretty nice move. Ooh, MC says, how about Pony right now? How about it? How about it? I don't know what you mean. Really nice breakout back here. Faded off some. But again, this isn't your like typical small cap where I just keep going back to the well and trying to find patterns for it. These runs aren't, this is not even around 100% run here. It's not like it's going to come into play for any first green days reversals. Probably not that interested in that breakout unless it's further down the line. So not watching Pony at all right now. You got to learn when to put stocks away and go to the next round of tickers. Oreo says TNMG potential reversal. I did not even see this one. I don't even have a daily chart for this one, but the intraday looks like this. Didn't even run 300%. 30 cents times 4 is $1.20. So, yeah, it looks good. Nice fade. Sideways yesterday. But I don't have daily chart on this setup. So, I don't know what the volume was yesterday, but it doesn't really fit for me because it didn't run enough. A dose of East Coast says, hey, Dom, did you take KDLY yesterday? If so, could you break down the trade, please? Yeah, I'm going to refer you to the webinar we did yesterday. I do an hour-long webinar every week, and we spoke exclusively on all the reversals yesterday. We talked about KDLY, ASST, NXTT, GRYP, and kind of how I traded each of them. We go through the triangles, my poor execution on all of them. So I encourage you to check that out on the site through 4Leaf. If you're interested, this is Good Morning Nasdaq. We don't have time to break down every trade. Adam says, I bought Kidley at 9 and sold at 12 yesterday. Congratulations. That's a nice job. Emilio says on QBTS, if you were to buy the breakout, would it now be the new high of yesterday or still the 12-ish area? Whatever the new high is. It wouldn't count as a breakout today because yesterday the high was set and we need at least 1 day of not breaking that level to create a breakout. So before, it was following this 3-day run. We topped out on this day here on the 12th at 1184. We spent at least 1 day before breaking it and then broke it out yesterday, but obviously failed quite hard. So it would have to set up against yesterday's highs because that is the new high. That is the new breakout level. Rocky Rooney says, Dom, will I have access to trading tickers videos if I take the Clover monthly subscriptions? No, I don't believe so. We sell them on the site, and they are a part of the package of Black Clover. So if that interests you, if you want everything on the site, there's a possibility for that. But if you're just a 3 or 4 leaf, you get access to, for 3 leaves, just our watch list every night, the room, the trade alerts, and just access to us to be able to ask us questions whenever. And then 4 leaf gets you all that, plus access to all of our trading. What am I saying? Not trading, video lessons, which we post throughout the week, each of us individually, and then you get access to all the archived webinars, as well as access to the live webinars, which happen 2 times a week, as well as everything from Huddie and Dom, all the old webinars and online boot camps. You'll get access to all that stuff as well. All right, 9:17. I'll see if there's any good questions, and we'll get out of here. Ross says, Dom, how do you feel about having both long and short patterns in your playbook? I feel way more comfortable shorting. Should I stay short only in your opinion? Roz, you know the answer to that. I can't tell you what to do. I don't know anything about you. I just do what works for me. And what works for me is looking at the market through a particular lens of no bias, of going through the life cycle of a penny stock and asking myself, where are we at this moment in the run? Are we on the front side? Are we in consolidation? Are we on the back side? And what is most likely to happen next? That is all I do. which is why I have some short setups in my arsenal, because there are specific moments when I know I sure as heck don't want to be long. I'm definitely not looking to buy. We're definitely overextended, and I want to see a pullback. So, I will always make more money on the long side. I always have the potential for bigger profits on the long side. That is my bread and butter. That's where I trade the best. I'm the most comfortable. But over the years, I've definitely worked in the skill set of being able to short when needed. You have to do what works for you, right? If you say you feel way more comfortable shorting, have you made 100,000? Have you made 500,000? Have you built your accounts? I don't think most people should be looking to add new strategies to their arsenal until they've proved profitability and consistent profitability through the patterns that they are the most comfortable at right out of the gate, that they spend the most time studying, that they have the most data on, that they have the best results with, that they have the best statistics on, right? Don't, milk what you got for as long as you can, and then work to add new stuff because either the market changes or because you grow in experience and you see, okay, on these days I used to be shorting breakouts and now I realize I could be buying them. And so you slowly, over a 2 to 3 month stretch, work those into your arsenal, study hundreds, if not thousands of examples, go through a bunch of data. You don't need a huge edge to make a lot of money trading. You just have to have a edge and trade it really, really well and be really efficient, manage your losers, and maximize your winners. That's really all it is. So it's not about who can have the most patterns. There's obviously guys out there like Kellogg and Nate who can trade anything under the sun and be really, really profitable about it. I'm sure in their minds they still do have bread and butter where they know they can make the most amount of money on, but that takes many, many years and lots of profits to get to the point where you can pull up any daily chart and have some sort of edge on it. So it's not about a yes or no to your question, Roz. You have to make that decision for yourself. But if you don't have 6 months, a year, 2 years of consistency trading the patterns you are trading, and you believe that that's the way you should go in terms of you can make money doing that, I would focus on growth. Focus on being the best short seller you possibly can, and then add things to your arsenal as you gain more experience. All right, everyone, 9:20. Let's all say a special prayer for Kyle. His wedding is tomorrow. Hope everything goes smoothly. Hope the weather is great. Hope the vibes are high. So sending good vibes and love out to Mexico. We'll be live again Monday morning, 8:45 a.m. So hope you guys will be there to join us. You did not get to the like button, the like limit today. We need to get to 50 likes, please. Hit that subscribe button as well on the way out if you're interested in hanging out with us more often every single day if you want. Over at clovertrade.io, get signed up over there, and you can upgrade your education. All right, everybody, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and we'll see you Monday, and we'll see all you Clovers in the room